Hey everybody, it's Brian. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to create a email signature block. So each time you create or respond to an email, it'll have a portion, the bottom portion of the email, it'll show up something like this. We're going to do this in a few different steps in order to get it to look similar to this. You can customize it however you'd like. We can upload this basic setup to Teams, so you guys could copy and paste, this portion of it. You'll get a little phone icon and a little web icon here to include in your signature block if you'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by copying this, and I'm going to also show you how to put the photo in there too. But I'm going to start by this. We're in Outlook 365, which is the web version of Outlook. And what you do is you go to this settings icon right here, click on that, and when it comes up, you can either go to view all settings, or it gives you the option to search the Outlook settings. So if you just type in signature right here, email signature will pop up. You just click on that, and it'll bring up the settings to create a new email signature. Alright, so from here you can click on create a new signature, and then it'll have a blank space for you. Okay, so I always like to let me back up. The signature will start wherever your email ends, okay, and it'll automatically populate in there, so you'll be able to actually see it. So I like to hit enter once and then just start it out by saying thanks, Brian. And it's yelling at me to put in a name here, so I'm going to put Brian New in there. Okay, so then I am going to want to put a photo in, so I'm going to hit enter a few times down here, and then I'm going to paste that portion that I copied from the other email. And like I said, we can put this, the general format out, and you can just replace these sections with the location that you're in, your email address obviously, and we'll put that on Teams. Okay, so we've got the basics for it here, and now we've got to go edit the picture a little bit because the pictures can be a little bit finicky inside of Outlook. They can, if you don't get them to be the right size before you put them in here, then they can resize themselves, and you can end up with a giant picture of your face on someone's email, and it's I've had it happen to me before, and it's somewhat embarrassing / unflattering. So I'm going to hit save here. Okay, so we've got Brian New, we've got email. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and then I'm going to go in and we are going to it's automatically reverting back to my other Outlook signature. So when you hit the drop down, you'll be able to see, Brian New there, and we'll go back and we'll edit that later. But for now, I'm going to go out of here. I'm going to show you what to do with the picture. So this email was just a picture that I took of myself using the camera on my computer, and I've downloaded that to my downloads folder. And so I'm going to go here, and we've got Brian Pick. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to open it inside of Microsoft Paint, and that's going to allow me to resize the picture. Now, it is important to know how many dots per inch or pixels per inch your photo is. So actually, if you right click on the photo file and you click on properties and go over to details, you can scroll down here and see how many DPI the picture is. So that's the resolution, that's the kind of the density of the quality in the picture. Okay, so the camera that I have on my computer is 96 dots per inch. Most phones are 72 dots per inch, and so when you take the picture and then resize it, sometimes your picture might fluctuate slightly inside of Outlook when you're sending or receiving an email, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. to change the DPI, you have to get like Photoshop or another photo editing software that isn't available on our computers. So I'm just going to do it the easy way. Okay, so we've got 96 dots per inch, and I'm going to open that photo inside of Microsoft Paint. And there's a couple things that I'm going to do once I open it in Paint. So I right click, go to Open With, and go over to Paint. Then once this photo opens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it to make it so it's, you know, the edges of the photo aren't really there, so it's just kind of focused on me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first go to this selection icon up here, and then just click and drag and choose, you know, an area that I kind of like. I'm kind of trying to keep my Jackson Hewitt logo in the picture, but that's the basic, you know, section of the photo that I'm going to use. So I'm going to then click crop here, and then once it's cropped, I'm going to go and resize it. Okay, and resizing it is going to be in pixels per inch or dots per inch. Okay, so I know that this photo is 96 pixels per inch. So if I want it to be an inch wide, then I'm going to want it to be, you know, 96 pixels wide. I'm going to do a little bit smaller than that. I'm going to do 80 pixels. And so it'll be 80 pixels by 106 pixels. And so what that does is it won't allow Outlook to resize it automatically to like this size, which happens sometimes. And it's just, I hate that when that happens. It's just so embarrassing to me. So, because no one needs to see my face that up close. Okay, so I hit OK, and it resizes it to a much more comfortable size for me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Save As. And you can save it, you know, pretty much anywhere you want. You can put it on your desktop, you know, as a temporary picture. So I'm just going to save it as Brian Pick on my desktop. So it's now we've got a small version of my picture. And the real benefit of that is that if you try to resize it within the signature block setup, it looks like it's the right size, but like I said, it can resize it automatically, and I just want you guys to be able to avoid that the way I wish I would have initially. So I'm going to go back to the signature. I'm going to go back in here and click on the Brian New signature that I made, and then I'm going to go right in here, and so my cursor's in here, and click this little picture icon. And the picture icon will allow me to choose a new picture. So as soon as it pops up here, I'm going to go to my desktop and then find that picture. As you can see, I've got a folder of these that I've made previously in preparing for this. But so Brian Pick pops up here on my desktop. I hit open, and it is going to insert it right in here for me. There we go. And so I'm actually going to move my name up a bit, and then put a little bit of space in between the Thanks Brian and my photo. So now I'm going to, once I hit save, at the end of each email, it's going to say, thanks, Brian, have my picture, and then have my contact information in this disclosure here. There are some additional settings down here that you can change which signature block you want to use. So if you want to do for new messages, you can have one, and then you can have a different one for replies. I like to keep it all the same, so I'm going to change those to Brian New, both for new messages and for replies and forwards. And the rest of the settings down below, you don't really need to worry about, so I'm just not going to go over those right now. And so this is basically what my signature block is going to look like. I'm going to hit save, and now when I go, I'm going to exit out of this, and now when I go to create a new email, I hit new, and as soon as this pops up, it's been running a bit slow today, so I apologize for the delay. There we go. It's got this my picture there, automatically there, and you put your email in, and now you've got a little bit more of a personal dynamic to your emails that really, I think, helps the client know you and just makes it a little bit more personal, so it's not so distant. So that's the basic breakdown of how you do an email signature. If you guys have any questions, concerns, need help, don't hesitate to ask. I'm available, and like I said, I will put this portion out on Teams, so then you can make your changes to personalize it for yourself. Take care, guys. Have a good night.